Hello, I'm Will. This is Mike. We are the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
And we have for you today another episode of Warhammer 40k Conquest, where we have a look through the magazine and at the new models we get, and then we play the games in the magazine with them. As usual, you can skip ahead to the games if you want. There's a timestamp in the description below. And with this issue, we get our second Munitorum Armoured Container and another set of crates and barrels to go with it. And then having a look inside the magazine, we've got some stuff about the Chaos Gods, and specifically about Nurgle, who is the patron of the Death Guard. And we've got some more things about the defenders of Ultramar in the war against the Death Guard invasion. And then participants from Nurgle's forces as well. How to build the armoured container. This is exactly the same instructions as the previous ones. I'm going to skip through those. And then how to paint it, which is the same procedure, but this time it's painted blue rather than black. And then how to paint the boxes again. And the Promethean drummers, we still don't have any red paint, so that's how to paint those is still going to be put off the next issue. But with that, we're already on to our first mission for this week, Fire Zone Secured. We're going to have a look at that straight away.
Here's our only mission for this issue, Fire Zone Secured. As you can see here by the diagram, we have slightly different here. We're using deployment zones rather than relying on the 3 deployment markers. You can see here forces for each side. The Death Guard get the Blight Hauler, the 5 Plague Marines and 12 Poxwalkers, while the Space Marines get a much bigger force than usual. We've got 5 Intercessors, 3 Aggressors, the Librarian and the 2 Hellblasters. You can see here we've got some objectives, but we'll go into the new rules for this mission. Basically, deployment zones are a thing now. So it goes on about, you basically use a zone. So you can see in the examples there's a 3-inch zone from the edge of the board, and you have to deploy your models within the zone. Fairly simple, really. And also how to place objectives on our own rather than relying on pre-placed objectives. So here you can see we roll off, and you have to put the objective has to be at least 3 inches away from either deployment zone, and then has to be at least 3 inches away from any other objectives. We'll be using those rules to deploy the 2 objectives. And then we'll be using the deployment zones rule, so we each have a 3-inch deployment zone. And we roll off to see who places the unit first, and alternate doing so. And the player who deploys the unit last takes the first turn, but the Space Marines have more units, so they'll always take the first turn, even if they deploy first. And you can see we're doing victory points like the last mission. Each objective is worth 1 victory point at the end of the game. If you end the game with a model in the enemy's deployment zone, that's worth a victory point, and each enemy unit destroyed is worth a victory point. And to control an objective, you have to have more models within 3 inches of it at the end of the game. So first we'll roll off for who places objectives, and then we'll roll off for who gets to deploy first. I should also mention that in the setup, since we got our second set of crates, you're meant to deploy them by each deployment zone. So it's this box and this box are proper boxes with the storm bolters, while the red box is just it just doesn't have storm bolters on it. It's going to follow the same rules.
It's still printed, technically, but...
Yeah, it'll still be pre-printed, but since we've got all 3, we'll use them. And now we'll roll off to see who deploys their objective first. I've got a 3.
I've also got a 3. Yeah, right, so I get to deploy my objective first. So I'm going to put mine there. There's an objective.
Right in front of your lines.
Yep.
And I'm going to deploy my objective. I'll put it there, so you can get some cover on those boxes. Now we roll off to see who starts deploying first. Yeah, come on.
Right,
there you go.
I start deploying first, which is to my detriment because I have fewer units.
Yes, so I get to counter deploy with more units.
So I've put the Poxwalkers down here. They're all within 3 inches of this board edge.
So for my first deployment, I've deployed the Intercessors on my far left flank.
So I'm going to deploy the Blight Hauler next. Now you will notice that if I put that on 3 inches on the board edge, it's actually slightly too long to fit in the deployment zone, so can't actually deploy it, can't use it, not allowed.
Yeah, technically in the full rule.
Technically it's because by the letter of the rules it doesn't fit on the board, but we're going to be lenient on me, and so it'll be basically, it's no more than 3 inches forward, so it's just sitting, its back is sitting slightly off the board.
Yeah.
So it's going to go there, like that.
And for my second deployment, I'm going to deploy the Librarian in line with the Intercessors in the middle.
And then I've deployed my Plague Marines. I couldn't get them all to fit quite behind the box, so you can be seen from that corner.
Yeah, definitely seen them from behind these boxes.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for my deployment.
So to finish my deployment, I've deployed the aggressors here in the middle, complete to advance down the middle of the board, and the 2 Hellblasters on the flank to get some shots at those Plague Marines. And since I deployed last, I get to go first, so it's on to Space Marines turn 1. So first spin of movement, the intercessors are going to just move up a little bit, get them up to the edge of that box, should be within 15 inches of your Poxwalkers. So move up like that.
Yeah, you can see the end one.
And then the aggressors are going to advance.
6 inches.
Really well for advancing.
I might get them in flamer range.
Let's go around to there, on that cover. So now the Librarian is going to move up to here. And the 2 Hellblasters aren't going to be in rapid fire range from where they are, but they are going to stay where they are. A slight adjustment at the end of the movement phase. I realised that if I moved the Sergeant of the aggressors a little bit closer, you could get within flamer range of something, so I've done that. They did roll an 11 for their advance, so, but that's movement phase over, onto the psychic phase. So first things in the smite phase, the Librarian is going to try and smite the Blight Hauler. He got it with a 9, so D3 damage, 2.
2 mod wounds. I haven't ignored either of them.
So down to
6.
6, yeah, it has 8 wounds. And then the Librarian will try and do Might of Heroes on himself. He needs a 6. He got it with an 8. So on to the shooting phase. We'll start with the 2 Hellblasters. They're going to fire at your Plague Marines.
Yeah, so you'll have cover from them because of the corner of this box.
Yes, so they will get armour saves. And they're not with their rapid fire range, so we've got 2 shots. I will overcharge because we're within an inch of the box.
Yeah.
Or within 2 inches of the box, as I should say. So hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s, so only 1 hit. Wounding on a 3, and it didn't wound. So next shooting, we'll do the intercessors. We're shooting at the Poxwalkers, so that'll be 10 shots, hitting on 3s. We got 8 hits, wounding on 3s, 6 wounds.
I've made 1 disgustingly resilient, so 5 Poxwalkers will go down. We'll just take these 5 at the back.
You couldn't pull enough to get with that out of range of the aggressor sergeant.
No, I was trying to get him out of flame range, but not possible.
So then our aggressor sergeant is the only one left to shoot. So he'll shoot at the Poxwalkers. So that's 2d6 shots. Only 4 hits. Wounded on 3s.
Wounded dead, that was
Yeah.
wounded before.
4 wounds. 4 dead.
Another 4 dead.
Blimey. So that would be it for the shooting phase. I'm not going to declare any charges, so it's on to Death Guard turn 1.
These 3 remaining Poxwalkers are going to move up. They're 4 inches to there. I'm not sure what use they're going to be now. The Blight Hauler is going to shift itself over here. Can be within 2 inches of those crates.
As far away
as possible, yeah.
Still within 2 inches.
And then the Plague Marines are going to move out there 5 inches. That gets the champion to about there. So they are within 2 inches of those ammo crates, just about. We will start the shooting with. We'll start with the Plague Marines. It doesn't really make any difference. Yeah, we'll shoot the aggressors.
Okay.
Start with the champion's plasma gun. We're going to overcharge it. So 2 shots hitting on 3, 3 rolling 1s. Double 1. Oh no! Oh no! Oh phew! Right, 2 hits. Wounding on 3s because they're toughness 5. 2 wounds.
2 6+ armour saves.
Yep. No, 2 damage apiece.
2 go down.
Yep.
So we'll take everyone but Sarge because he's the closest.
And then we've got 2 blight launchers. We've got 4 hits.
Blimey.
Wounding on 3s. 3 wounds. 5+ saves for Sarge.
No, he's going to go down.
He takes 2d3 damage, minimum 2, so he goes down. Bolt guns don't have anything to shoot at, but that's okay. And then the Blight Hauler, well, it can't actually see the Hellblaster all the way in the corner, so he's going to shoot the intercessors.
Yep.
We'll start with the multi-melter.
One
It
shot.
hits on a 4, it does. It wounds on a 2, it does. No armour save. D6 damage are within 12 inches. I thought that. Yes, we are. So 2d6 damage taking the highest, anything but double 1. Yeah. Melts an intercessor.
So take 1 off the back.
Then we've got the
Missile launcher.
missile launcher. It does 6 shots. Hitting on 4s. Rerolling 1s. 3 hits. Wounding on 5s. So
No
nothing,
wounds.
because it still doesn't have its proper strength of 4.
It's not strength 4 yet.
And then we've got the bile spurt as well, which is D3 shots. 2, hitting on 4s. 1 hit, wounding on a 3, I think. Strength 6. Yeah, it did wound.
AP minus 1, I think.
Yes, I think it's AP minus 1.
4 damage? 4 plus
4 plus armor save.
He's
yes,
fine.
He's fine. We're going to do it. We're going to declare a charge with the Plague Marines on the Intercessors.
So
3 of them can see.
Yeah, so 3 that can see will Overwatch. 6 shots sitting on 6s.
3 hits.
3 hits. Blimey. Wounding on 5s. Come on, big roll. No wounds.
So it's 9-inch charge. No, that's a 6. That won't do. I'm not going to charge the Poxwalkers and Blight Hauler. Can't fit through the gap. So that'll be it for Death Guard turn 1.
On to Space Marines turn 2. So on my turn, the Librarian has moved up to get a bit of smiting opportunities on them. The Intercessors have come with him, and they are within 2 inches of this box, so they can reroll 1s. And the 2 Hellblasters have just moved, shuffled around a bit so that they're just within rapid fire range of the Plague Marines. So movement over onto the target phase. The Librarian's going to try and manifest Smite on them. Yeah, you got it with a 6, so D3 damage. 2.
More wounds. I've saved one of them, so we're going to lose a bolt gun. And it'll be on the back, I suppose. No, it'll be on the front.
And then the Librarian will try and do Might of Heroes on himself. He got it with a 7. So onto the shooting phase. We're going to start with the 2 Hellblasters because they are just within 15 inches of the Plague Champion. So we've got 4 shots. I will overcharge, so it's 4 shots hitting on 3s, you're rolling 1s. Reroll that 1. Phew. 3 hits. Wounding on 3s. Come on. Yes, 3 wounds.
No armor save because
They aren't all obscured, so no armor save.
So I've got to do these 2 at a time because they do 2 damage each. So Disgustingly Resilient. 1 dies. 2 dead. 1 lives, so I lose 2.
2 die.
So we'll take away the bolt gun and that guy.
The Librarian will throw a crack grenade at the Plague Marines. Hitting on a 3. He hit. Wounded on a 3. Get it in the box. He wounded.
4 plus save. Nope.
D3 damage. 2 damage.
2 damage. Another guy goes down.
So now the Intercessors. 1 guy will throw a crack grenade at the Plague Champion. And then the other 3 will fire their bolt rifles at the Poxwalkers. So the crack grenade, hitting on 3s, you're rolling 1s. He hit. Wounding on a 3. He didn't wound. And the 3 bolt rifles, 6 shots hitting on 3s, you're rolling 1s. 4 hits. Wounding on 5s.
5? 3?
3, sorry.
Wounding on 3.
So
2 wounds. 2 2s.
2 wounds. And they're both
Poxwalkers are alright.
So, I think that might actually work out in my favour almost. So, on to the charge phase. The Intercessors are going to declare a charge at the Poxwalkers.
Only.
And the Champion.
Yeah? Okay, well I'm going to Overwatch then.
Okay.
I'm going to overcharge.
Okay, but you don't get to reroll 1s.
I don't get to reroll 1s.
Okay.
So hitting on 6s, 1s blow him up. No hits, but no death
hits.
either.
I need to actually roll the dice, see how far I go first. 6 inches. So there we are, we've charged into the Poxwalkers and thing, and you can see I've carefully manoeuvred him so he's an inch away from the Blight Hauler. And then the Librarian will also declare a charge on the Plague Champion. And he'll get in with a 9, but he'll get in like that. On to the fight phase. I charge, so I get to fight first. The Librarian will put all of his attacks onto the Champion. He has 5 attacks, hitting on 3s because of Might of Heroes. Big roll, 4 hits. Wounding on 4s because he's strength 5 because of Might of Heroes. Come on. 2 wounds, 2 6 plus armor saves.
Can he do it? No, he can't. 2d3 damage.
2d3 damage. 4.
4. Come on. No, he's dead.
Now the Intercessors also charge, so they get to go next, so they get to pile in. The Intercessor Sergeant can move 3 inches and has to end up nearest the closest enemy model, so he'll end up like that. And then these 2 will pile in like that. And then this guy, the important one, look at that.
Look.
He's got within an inch of the thing. Actually, Sarge, I think Sarge is just out of an inch. 9 attacks from the Intercessors, because there's 3 from the Sergeant, and then hitting on 3s. 7 hits. Wounding on 3s. Come on, boys. 5 wounds.
Yeah. So... Oh, I haven't made a single
Didn't make any of them.
So those all go down. And then they
Intercessors get to consolidate. So we're going to move around. So they're going to pile in like that to leave a gap for the Librarian. But now the Blighthauler gets to strike back against them.
Yep. This is my revenge. It's going to bite them to death.
It has 3 attacks hitting on 4s.
Ah, 1 hit.
1 hit.
Wounds on a 3.
Yep.
It does. AP minus 2, so 5 plus save.
5 plus armour save. He's fine.
Well, it's not AP minus 2, but because we don't technically have the data sheet for it yet. Again, still.
Yeah, it's a 5 plus armour save.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the end of Space Marine's turn 2. Quite a successful turn.
You think?
On to Death Guard turn 2.
Well, this thing cannot fall back. It's trapped in the corner. Can't get more than an inch away from these guys. So we're just going to have to go straight on to the fight phase, or the biting phase, as I'm going to call it. And he's going to try and eat them. He's got 1 hit again. It wounds on a 3. It does. Wounds this.
5 plus armour save.
Oh, you made it again. Oh.
So we've got 9 attacks from the Intercessors, hitting on 3s. 6 hits. Wounding on 5s. Only 1 wound. 3 plus armour save.
That's fine. This might take a while.
So that's very quick. Death Guard turn 2, on to Space Marines turn 3. So for my movement, the 2 Hellblasters were just moved up a little bit to hold this objective, and the Librarian has moved up to get within as close as possible to the, the Blighthauler. Onto the Psychic phase, the Librarian will try to smite the Blighthauler. He got it with a 7. 1 damage.
1 more wound. No, I haven't ignored it. It's down to 5.
Down to 5 wounds. Then he'll try and get Might of Heroes on himself. 11.
Like that for smite.
Yeah, unfortunately. But he's got Might of Heroes on himself. Shooting phase. You've got 4 pistols from the Intercessors. Hitting on 3s. Rerolling 1s because it's the shooting phase.
Yep.
And we're close enough to that box. So that's 3 hits. Wounding on 5s. 1 wound.
AP mine. Oh no.
No, regular bolt pistol, so 3 plus armour save.
Yeah.
It's going to be death by 1,000 cuts. Can we kill it before the end of the game?
You don't even need to roll.
Yeah, charge phase, Librarian.
Ah, look.
He's in with an 8. And he charged, so he gets to fight first. He's got 5 attacks hitting on 3s. Blimey. 1 hit. Wounded on a 5. He wounded though. 6 plus armour save.
Yes.
So it's my turn, so I get to pick first. So I pick the Intercessors, because they're the only unit left. And they've got 9 attacks, hitting on 3s. 7 hits. Wounding on 5s. No wounds.
And then I get to strike back. Oh, it's still only got 1 hit.
At the Intercessors,
It
I
wounds
think.
on a 3, yeah, one of the Intercessors I didn't wound.
That was Space Marines turn 3, on to Death Guard turn 3. Well, look at that, straight to the fight phase.
Yeah! Oh, it got 2 hits this time,
Wow.
it's warming up. Wounding on 3s. Oh, 1 wound.
5 plus armour save from the Intercessors. The longest combat in the world. I get to strike back, so I'll do the Intercessors first, just for the sake of it. 9 attacks hitting on 3s. 7 hits again. Wounding on 5s. 3 wounds. Got the Ryan at last. 3 plus armour saves.
Well, I made all of those, no damage.
And the Librarian has 5 attacks hitting on 3s. So I just had to replace the battery there, but the Librarian got 3 hits with melee. So he's wounded on 5s. No wounds. That is the end of Death Guard turn 3. On to Space Marines turn 4. So, as I said, no movement. Onto the Psychic phase. The Librarian's going to try and smite the Blighthauler. Come on, roll an 11. Oh, we got 10. Not enough. Come on, big roll. 1 damage.
Oh, yeah, it's another damage to it.
Down to 4. And then he'll try and do Might of Heroes, which he got with an 8. So now we're in the shooting phase. The Intercessors are close enough to that box to get the reroll 1s, but the Librarian isn't, so I have to do them separately. So the Librarian has his bolt pistol hitting on a 3. He missed. And then 4 shots from the Intercessors hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s. That's 3 hits. Wounding on 5s. 2 wounds.
2 arm saves. I failed one of them. Can I make them disgustingly resilient? No, I can't, so it takes another wound.
Down to 3. On to the fight phase. I get to pick first because it's my turn, so I'll pick the Librarian. He has 5 attacks, hitting on 3s. 3 hits again. Wounding on 5s, come on. No wounds.
I'm going to attack the intercessors.
Alright.
Still done no damage to them so far. Oh, 2 hits again.
Wounding on 3s.
2 wounds.
2 5+ armor saves. No, an intercessor goes down, so I'll take the unengaged guy. And then the 3 remaining intercessors have 7 attacks between them. So 7 attacks hitting on 3s. Oh, now they've been a bit demoralised by that. Only 2 hits. Wounding on 5s. 1 wound.
Oh, failed my resilience. How would I make my resilience?
So that's Space Marines turn 4. On to Death Guard turn 4.
So fight phase, try and kill another intercessor. Let's do this. We always got 2 hits. Hit wounds on 3s. Oh, 2 wounds.
5+. It might be able to eat its way out of its predicament. Yeah, it might. Takes down another intercessor.
Go Blighthauler.
So this guy will go down. And then, let's do the 2 intercessors. 5 attacks hitting on 3s. 3 hits. Wounding on 5s. 1 wound.
Oh, failed another save. And another disgusting resilience.
Down to 2 wounds.
Down to 2.
And then the Librarian has 5 attacks hitting on 3s. Come on. 4 hits. Wounding on 5s. Can he actually wound it? 2 wounds.
Oh.
2 6+ armor saves.
Make 1.
Made 1. D3 damage. 3.
So I'm going to make 2 of these disgustingly resilient rolls.
No.
No. So it goes down.
In Black Death Guard turn 4. So that will be victory for the Space Marines. Yeah.
Well, you get some victory points technically, but it doesn't actually matter in the end.
It's a bit irrelevant when I tabled you, but
yeah.
I mean, I had both objectives, killed all of your units, and had the guy in the deployment zone. So that was our mission for this week. We'll recap it for you now. So that was the mission for issue 17 of Warhammer 40,000 Conquest. How did you think that went?
Not very well.
No.
Well, where do we start?
Well, I think it's a bit imbalanced in favour of the Space Marines, to be honest, with the extra unit, meaning I always get to go first.
Yes, you always get to go first because the deployment rules haven't been thought out too well.
Yep.
And my Blighthauler doesn't technically fit on the board because it's technically larger than 3 inches on its base, so I can't hide everything out of sight, so it meant you were always going to damage something in your first shooting phase. Fortunately, it was just Poxwalkers and you didn't do any harm to the Plague Marines.
I did roll very high for the advance on my aggressors, although to be fair, if I rolled lower, I just wouldn't have moved them as far forward. And the intercessors, with 5 of them now, actually have a fairly decent amount of firepower against the Poxwalkers.
Yeah, they took out quite a lot of them. In fact, they basically neutered the Poxwalkers. The Poxwalkers did absolutely nothing in this game.
And with 5 of them, they're also a fairly decent tying up unit. They're quite good at sneakily getting other people into melee.
Having so many there, you managed to tie the Blighthauler up in the corner. My Plague Marines, as usual, were my MVP. They wiped out the aggressors in one shooting phase, without even using all their guns, actually. Blighthauler melted an intercessor and then got stuck in a corner. Again, the same thing we usually say about it. It's fast and it doesn't really work on this board very well because it's a bit big and it doesn't have enough room to get away.
Space.
In a game where you have the first turn on this board, I'm in trouble with the Blighthauler because it's very difficult for me to get it somewhere where you can't charge it and tie it down.
Yeah, I can get about halfway up the board and then there's basically nowhere you can go.
Yeah.
They're blocked by terrain then. And your own units as well get in the way. Like a big unit of Poxwalkers.
Yeah. If I had more than 3 Poxwalkers, I would have spread them out a bit more, tried to form some kind of screen so you couldn't charge, but with only 3, there was just nothing much I could do about it, to be honest. And to move the Plague Marines out to be useful, I had to get them within being the closest unit for Smite. Perhaps I could have deployed better, I don't know. It's difficult to deploy when you know your opponent's going to have 2 drops after you do.
Yeah, and you deploying first really didn't help either.
No, although, as I say, not that there's that much cover to hide behind.
Well, I mean, I suppose you could have maybe scrunched the Poxwalkers up into the corner and shifted everything to the right a bit so all the Plague Marines fitted behind the box.
Probably could have done. If I'd done that, you might not have deployed the Hellblasters out on the flank. You might have put them on the other side, for example.
Well, I did think about putting them behind the box to try and entice you to come out, and then I could shoot you, so you couldn't shoot at them straight away, but you just went for the aggressors anyway, so...
Yeah, the Hellblasters, I mean, as we said last issue when we got them, 2 of them aren't enough to be really scary. I mean, they rolled quite well for one shooting phase and killed 2 Plague Marines. It probably should have been 3. I rolled well on Resilient. But I'm not that scared of them when there's only 2 of them. Unless the Hellblasters roll really well, I'll just be losing a bolt gunner or 2, really. And then my return fire is enough to get rid of them. So I'm not that scared of them, which is why I went to the aggressors, because I didn't want them roaming around, because they can do all sorts of nasty things. Smite, useful as ever.
And Might of Heroes.
And Might of Heroes.
No, the Librarian didn't actually do very much against the Blighthauler.
No, he didn't. He took it out in the end, but yeah.
It took him a few goes.
But by that point, you'd already won the game, so it
Yeah.
didn't really matter that much.
I mean, he might have been better off going for the Librarian, but just to drag it out.
Well, I did do 4 wounds. I did 4 wounds to the Intercessors in the end after all of that combat.
They did well for my armour saves, so you might have been better off.
You did actually, yeah. So perhaps I probably could have killed the Librarian over time. But then I still wouldn't have been able to get out. That's why I was going for the Intercessors. I wanted to try and escape. Deploying objectives is a bit of a gimmick, really. It doesn't really affect anything very much.
Yeah, and there's only about half the board you can actually put the objective in.
Yeah, so a useful thing to know how to do, but for the moment
it's just part of the rules of the game.
Yeah,
same with deployment zones as well. So I think that's everything that needs to be said. If you like this content, please leave a like and subscribe and leave any comments you have and share it with all your friends. We've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye for now.